We'll call the Parks and Rec Advisory Board meeting for January 21st, 2026 to order. Request staff confirmation that the Kansas Open Meeting Act required notice has been properly provided.
It was.
Would help if I turn my microphone on. So roll call.
Ashley Campbell.
Larry Pankratz.
Kevin Janaszek.
Dana Casso.
All right. Introduction of guests. We have any guests here that we want to introduce before?
Well, we have some people here for new business item 8A, but there might also be someone here for Citizens Forum. So, but no guests of staff.
Okay. Before we get to Citizens Forum, we wanted to recognize the public service from one of our former board members, Denny Wahlgren, who passed away since our last meeting. He was active on the board. I actually personally got to know Denny through my very short and illustrious high school basketball career many years ago at South. Also then ended up getting to know him much better as a neighbor for 20 years later. I was a neighbor of his for 10 years and then obviously working with him on this board, and always appreciated his input and advice and experience over the years when he served on this board. So just wanted to recognize that. And anybody else want to have any comments?
Well, he was coach, that's what everybody knew him as, and he had a great basketball career and just did a lot of great things for Salina, and he was part of the baseball foundation, wasn't he, or the group that
he was a representative from this board for Salina Baseball Enterprises, or that board that represents that.
Yeah, during the whole transition. So, a good guy.
Yep, definitely will be missed on this board. So, okay, Citizens Forum. Any citizens want to speak about anything that's not on the agenda? Oh, all right, we'll move on.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yep.
Am I the one that needs to talk if I want to talk?
Yeah, you need to come up to here and introduce yourself.
Okay, sorry, I haven't done this before, so I'm not sure what I needed to talk in front of some people like this. Anyway, do I have to introduce myself?
Yes.
Or what do I do?
Yeah, please.
I want to tell you thank you for today and being able to come in and speak with you. And I'm going to give my name as my full name. That I have some last names that are different. Anyway, I'm Jackie Vidrickson Connor Pestinger. And the only reason I want to do that or say that is so that you understand my history of Salina. I've lived here all my life, and my connection to the Sunset Ball Diamond. As we have a home, I own a home right across the street from the Ball Diamond, Sunset Ball Diamond, and there in Sunset Park. And friends of the Bondy family, as you know, that field is named for Earl, is Larry actually was very instrumental in having that happen. So I guess I'm kind of, at this point, wondering why it's wanting to move the memorial away from Sunset Ball Diamond to be moved to East Crawford. Because as you look at that monument and what it says about Earl, and we actually are friends of the Bondy family. So I've talked to Ray about this several times, and he really appreciates the fact that I've been in contact with him. And I don't know, has anyone else been in contact with the Bondy family about this other than me? Do you know?
I'm not sure if the applicant or if the people who initiated this have or not.
Okay. Well, anyway, I've been in touch with him, and I spoke to him several times, pardon me. And he, the Bondy family was so appreciative of having that field named after their father and grandfather and what the monument says there. And actually, if you read the monument, and I'm sure you all have, I guess, I don't know. Anyway, I've read it and looked over it and talked to people about it and stuff. And it says that it was there for the legacy of Earl. And it says his legacy honored at Sunset Ball Diamond to have a different field named for him, and this is my opinion, would take away from Earl's memory of why that ball diamond, that complex, whatever you want to call it, was named for. And Earl was very instrumental, again, in all the activities, and I'm sure you all know this. I don't need to get into all that. And I've written things and looked up things and wondered about things. And that was in 1999 when it was dedicated to Earl. So it's been there, 25, 26 years now. So again, I'm just kind of wondering why now, all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but a little bit with what's going on, why it's being moved, or consideration of moving it somewhere else. Which I understand you move it, there's a difference to me in whether you dedicate a diamond or you name a diamond. You dedicate something because it has a real meaning. You can put a name anywhere you want. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter. In my book, that's just me. But anyway, I'm really not in favor of having that moved. Nor am I in favor of having anything move in at Sunset Park or Sunset Ball Diamond. It's a very historical place. It's the last actual ball diamond we have. If I'm wrong, someone can correct me. But in original ball diamonds, it's the last one we have here in Salina. So to me, it's history. It's history for my family. It's history for the Bondy family. And it seems like we just take out so much history. And this is the one thing I'm really passionate about. So I think I only have a little bit of time to talk. I don't know. Did I read right 5 minutes or you're out of here? But anyway, I just wanted to share my feelings. And I hope you all know where I'm coming from. It's not to be cantankerous or hard to get along with, or that I just am very passionate about sunflower. Hello, Larry. I worked at Sunflower for so many years, Sunset Park and Sunset Ball Diamond, that I wanted to make that known, and I hope as we go forward there'll be more conversations.
Yep.
So I thank you for your time.
No, appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Yep.
Larry Brittingham, and I, much like Jackie, I grew up on West Kerwin Street, a half a block from those diamonds, and grew up with the Vidrickson family. So since I was a little kid, I played on those baseball diamonds too. But Harold Bouchard and I came to the city back in 1999 about naming that diamond after Earl. I met Earl in the early 70s when I started coaching Babe Ruth baseball in Salina. That would have been about 1972. And just became very, very close friends with him. He was an extraordinary individual, very strong at Sacred Heart. Earl was very involved in our Babe Ruth baseball program. We had, at that time, the best Babe Ruth baseball program in the state of Kansas, back when kids would try out and you'd make the teams equal until all the traveling teams started. So that really hurt that program. But Harold and I felt at the time that we wanted to recognize Earl. That was really our idea. Nobody asked us to do that. Harold was involved with him at Sacred Heart, and I know Harold's going to get up and say a few words too. So at the time, those diamonds were used by the Parks and Recreation Department, and we felt that that would be an appropriate place to recognize Earl. And then as the demise of those Sunset Ball Diamonds, and I appreciate Jackie's position about historic parts of Salina, been a big part of my life too. But it doesn't allow Earl to be recognized as well as he should be recognized, because all the baseball has moved out to East Crawford or the Berkley family recreation area. So I appreciate her position about wanting to hold on to that from the past. But in our view, it's not fair to Earl, because more people need to know about him, and more people need to know what impact he had on youth sports in Salina. And the best way to do that is to have something where most of the action is. And so when we talked to Jeff, Harold and I have been talking about this for a couple of years, and went out to East Crawford. We had a perfect location out there that we could move the monument out to that location, and then all the youth leagues and all the youth tournaments would get to read about Earl Bondy. And that's really not happening at Sunset Park. It's just not. And so as everything changes in life, unfortunately, those diamonds aren't used anymore. And I grew up on them in the 60s, so I have that emotional attachment to them too. But I also am a realist, knowing that this is probably the right thing to do, to recognize him. And so that's our motivation behind that. So I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I talk again?
Can we wait till it actually comes up on the agenda?
Okay.
Yeah. We've got a specific spot for that. So, yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, there'll be more discussion at that point.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Harold Bichard. I'm a former sports editor and sports writer with the Salina Journal. I met Earl back in the 70s, when all you people were very young and probably still in grade school. But one thing I remember about Earl was back when the Journal was an afternoon paper, Earl would come walking in early Saturday morning. You could almost be like clockwork. He was the organizer, the schedule maker, and the stats person for the Salina Babe Ruth. He would bring in these little 5x7 notes. He would scribble it with his pencil, and he would list all the batting leaders, the pitching leaders, and he made kids feel important. And on the complex monument, it talks about he was very touched by the kids, the boys and girls that maybe sat at the end of the bench and didn't get to play a lot, but he pulled for them as much as the top hitter in the league. And a special individual. Now, we have Bill Burke Park. Bill Burke and Earl Bondy were very close, very good friends. Everybody knows about Bill Burke and Bill Burke Park. Very few know much about Earl Bondy, and I love history as much as anyone, but I think moving the monument between fields 1 and 2 would give Earl, the kind of the prestige that he deserves when it comes to what he meant to Salina sports, baseball, and different sports back in the late 70s and in the early 80s. He was a very strong proponent of kids being able to play baseball, and I think young men and young women out at East Crawford getting a chance to look at the monument, which I think is a beautiful monument for him, would kind of renew interest in his name and what he meant to the city of Salina. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Well, we'll move along here, and then we'll come back to that same topic here. But a couple of housekeeping things we need to do first. Approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any comments they want to make on the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right. The agenda is approved. Next one is approval of the minutes. Did anybody read through those? Notice anything that needed to be adjusted? Okay.
I move we approve the minutes. I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. Move on to activity reports.
Thank you. I was preparing something for a little later. I apologize. As I normally do, go through a few items of the activity reports. It is December is a somewhat slow month, but there's some few things I want to point out. Park staff we completed the Kenwood Playground. Rubber mulch was installed, and that was reopened in December. The Jerry Ivy Park, which that's south end of Jerry Ivy Park, I walked it just last week. Totally changes that the view of the south end of the park. With the stream has been removed through our park staff, and he had some help with that through a contractor. And then staff removed large overgrown evergreen shrubs at Jerry Ivy Park. really changes that entire view in the south end, just like when you did it on the north end. It's really very impressive how that looks. Facilities maintenance staff completed the BFRA dugouts on fields 1 through 4. We're getting close to doing epoxy in the Bill Burke bathrooms. The upcoming cold snap is going to kind of put a pause on that for a little while. Recreation programming, I'm sure Travis might talk about this, but in December we have 2 big events, Mayor's Christmas Party and New Year's Eve. And we had some really good programming there, and for the community, that's free for the community, no charge for a special event like that.
I showed up at the New Year's Eve thing, and that was big. I mean, I could not believe 800 people were there. That was
yeah.
It's
funny how that 8 years ago when I ran New Year's Eve and Christmas party was 1,200 people.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve was like 300, 250.
Yeah.
Now it's changed.
Oh, really? New Year's Eve? Huh.
Yeah,
Wow.
so
It was
it's just interesting
big.
how
A lot of
things
balloons.
evolve, and I think they're considering getting the expanding the size of that. So that's on Travis's plate if he wants to give him more space in the field house. I'm not sure, Travis, you want to talk about field house athletics accomplishments and activities? Thank you.
Yeah, December kind of marks the time where we get really busy indoors. A lot of our winter programs start. Gwen has an awesome adult volleyball program. That's 30 teams. And then adult basketball. That's one we kind of have to limit a little bit on the number of teams due to officials. So 13 teams is good, enough for 2 divisions. And then the one that's a beast is the futsal. And we ended up with 53 teams for that. So that's the most we've ever had in that program, which is a great number. And then the youth 3-on-3, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's just a shorter, fast-paced game, half court. It's a pretty good program. We ended up with 52 teams on that one. And then we carry that momentum with the youth. We just changed the format to a 5-on-5. So that's what we do in January and February. So really the youth are playing basketball from late October all the way through, February, March-ish, so for our league. Smoky Valley, as you know, is pretty prevalent in the facility. They do a lot of practices, a lot of games, so they're in there quite a bit. Again, Jeff mentioned the mayor's Christmas. Good event. The mayor was there, got to see him and talk to him. And then the New Year's, that was quite impressive. Like Larry said, I saw Larry there. And then, of course, at the end of the night, Sarah's begging for more space and grand ideas. So we'll try to accomplish that. We did host a youth basketball tournament in the field house, and that was 37 teams. And those MEYBs are pretty consistent. And we have a lot more to come here in January and February and March. So I think last board meeting I did promise I'll include all the end of the year information for you at the next board meeting. I'll have everything ready to go as far as outdoor, indoor, and some other information I'll put together for you. All I can do is give you a snapshot. We had a really great year. I like to give you that bubbly feeling inside that we're going to continue that for 2026. Just to let you know, we are currently down 2 full-time staff members. Okay, yeah. So it's all we're doing is interviewing. We're doing the best we can and getting them on board as quickly as possible to try to keep that momentum going. But I just wanted you to be aware.
We did make an offer today to a staff member.
Okay. Yep. And one thing I would mention too, when we talk about Smoky Valley, we're talking about Smoky Valley Homeschool, because at our BFRA board meeting, we were talking about something, and somebody mentioned Smoky Valley using the fields, and everybody looked at each other like we didn't know anything about that, and then it was we had to
Smoky Valley
specify
Homeschool.
that.
Thank you, Kevin. I'll make that note for the future.
Again, if there's anything that I did not cover, or you would like staff to touch on more detail, we'd be happy to do so.
On the community garden cleanup, isn't that the extensions facility, or?
We provide basically.
I know we provide the land.
Yeah, well, we pick up the spoils. I guess the
Okay.
the weeds and pulled plants, and I think once a year we pick that up from them and take it somewhere, and then we also might provide mulch at the start of the summer.
Okay.
So, but Dennis can give more detail to that. But I think that's how I would summarize that.
Yeah, so Jason, he gets with me at the beginning of the year, and we go over. So we do Stimmel, and then we do the right there by the animal shelter.
Parker Park.
Yeah, we clean all that up, and so it's pretty much just cleaning up when they're done with their garden and all that, and we dispose of it for them.
Yeah,
Like basically compost at that point in time.
Yeah.
I just knew that was extensions. I didn't know. I knew we provided
Yeah,
property.
it's a partnership between
Okay,
the city
great.
and the extension office.
That's a good program.
Yeah, those community gardens are very important.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions or comments before we move on? Okay. On to new business. The public hearing for the consideration of rededicating the naming of Earl J. Bondy Baseball Complex to Berkley Family Recreational Area Fields Number 1 and 2.
So I've brought this to this board before. There is a process for municipal facility namings. I provided the policy and procedures for those guidelines in your packets. I won't read or go through the packet in detail, but I want to at least point out the different types of naming and the application that I made from the letter that Mr. Brigham mentioned in his public comments. From that letter and from the city managers providing me the letter, I submitted an application to the city clerk for a municipal naming to rededicate the naming that's currently at Bondy Field, Earl J. Bondy Fields near Sunset Park, to Fields 1 and 2 at Berkley Family Recreational Area. But also on this, I wanted to point out the process, which is at the end of the guidelines. And there is a process for me to follow. It's a very specific process. The area has to be declared eligible for naming. So Berkley Family has been eligible for naming for a substantial period of time because of all the other naming exercises that have been gone on there, whether it be Pestinger Family Stadium, Dean Evans Stadium, Roger Wilbur Field, Matson Field. So there's lots of that's been declared eligible for naming for a long time, and that is a city commission level declaration. Step 2 is an application, and the city clerk provides an affidavit, if you will, or a statement, and I provided that as well too. That makes that the application does conform to the municipal naming guidelines. And then the third step is with you fine folks, a designated board that would hear this request and provide a recommendation to move forward with, to take to the city commission for a step 4. That step 4 is scheduled for the second Monday in February, and that step 4 is basically a public hearing at the city commission relating to this request, this naming request. In the packet, I've provided that letter from the city clerk, Nikki Gotting, saying that it is a valid request, and it does meet the guidelines of the municipal facilities naming guidelines. There was this meeting was posted, part of the requirements. If you'll look into that requirements of the steps, there is a 7-day notice that has to be legally noticed up. That is in our website. It's also in Salina 311, and that's the notice that the city clerk provided to announce this meeting. There will be a similar announcement for the city commission meeting. I think it's February 9th is that second Monday in February. I also provided a kind of an overview, a map, if you will, of the area in between Fields 1 and 2 that Mr. Brigham discussed, that we had met him there. We have some things that we need to correct there. We have a drinking fountain there, and the concrete slab around the drinking fountain is sunk. And it's supposed to be an ADA drinking fountain, so we have some accessibility issues there. So it's something that we identified that needs to be resolved anyways. So we can incorporate the memorial into that area as part of our 2026 concrete improvement plans. What I was doing when you called the activity reports, I was looking up the memorial at Earl J. Bondy complex for Earl J. Bondy, and I wanted to read it out loud. If you, it's not very long, but I thought it might be pertinent.
This is the one at Sunset?
Correct.
Okay.
This is one that's south of Sunset, and Sunset Park and Earl J. Bondy are two separate entities when you look at land, anyways, for city land. So, but it's just south of.
Just for clarification, so it's right now the one that's directly to the south of Sunset Park, the very first one?
That's correct.
That's
it's on the
the-
corner of
that's where-
Jewel Avenue and Concordia.
Where originally they were looking at putting a boys and girls thing, but now it's, with all the usage there, that's not going to happen.
They made a recent announcement. They were looking at alternative sites,
Yeah.
But there's nothing been confirmed. at this
I just
point in
want to
time.
get clear where,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that is the-
I'm a
that
disc
is the
golfer, I
correct-
don't do baseball. So.
Yeah. Earl J. Bondy Baseball Complex, dedicated July 9th, 1999. Earl J. Bondy, 1917 to 1990, dedicated his life to organizing sports activities for the youth of Kansas. While Earl loved baseball and the kids who play the game, he had a special place in his heart for those children not quite as skilled as some of their teammates. His dream was to empower the lives of all girls and boys by giving them the opportunity to be part of a team and play in each game. May this baseball complex be a place where his dream lives forever. And then there's a quote at the bottom of the memorial. 100 years from now, it will not matter what my bank account was, what kind of house I lived in, or what kind of car I drove, but the world may be a better place because I was important in the life of a child. And that's an anonymous quote at the bottom of the memorial. And then lastly, donated by the sons and daughters of Earl J. Bondy. That's on the memorial that is currently at Earl J. Bondy Complex, or just south of Sunset Park, at the baseball fields there. That is being proposed to be moved to fields 1 and 2 at Berkley Family Recreational Area. So again, that is the information that I have to share. We would have a few, and I can bring this back to the board at another time. This is at the end of the steps. We have to prepare a signage plan for how we recognize those, recognize the naming change. We have a plan that Travis and I and Brett have looked at relating to how we change the names of the blue park signs along Markley Road. We already have a plan for that. So there would be a small expense in resurfacing some of the existing signs. There would also be some staff time in moving the memorial. And then, of course, we already have a concrete plan that we already have in motion. We would just incorporate this small change of concrete in between field 1 and 2 and place the memorial there. And we would probably most likely do that through some staff initiative. But it is pretty heavy. It's granite, so we might want to, find someone who has a little more expertise than we might, but we'll see. We haven't got there yet. So at this point in
just
time,
for clarification, at Berkley, the first 2 are not named at all right now.
there are 4
So this-
fields. Every field is named except for fields 1 through 4,
Okay.
which is in between Matson Field and Wilbur Field.
Okay, so Matson is the very first one.
Correct.
That's what I was confused about. And 1 and 2 are right next. Okay, so it'd be Bondy 1 and 2.
James Matson Field, Field
Okay,
1, 2,
all right.
3, 4.
'Cause I knew the
Wilbur
first one
Field,
was Matson, so it threw me off. That 1
Wilbur.
started
I said
2.
Wilbur.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You said
Pestinger.
Wilbur. You're missing
I caught myself
Pestinger
on
and
the- I
Dean
caught
Evans in
myself.
there.
Yeah, because 1 and 2 would be
Thank
Bondy, and then the 4th one would be Wilbur, and then
Well, it used to be
Pestinger.
Wilbur.
Used to be Wilbur.
No.
Wilbur's now all the way south.
Oh, that's right.
See,
That's
I
right.
got
That's
caught.
right.
I-
Yeah, so then
I tri- I tripped you up.
Yeah,
Now I know where
there's
we're
4
talking.
fields,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So,
So,
Pestinger Family Stadium, Dean Evans, and then all the way down is Roger Wilbur.
yep.
There you go.
so what will be the name of the field that's still at Sunset then? Sunset one?
We would default to probably baseball fields at Sunset
Could
Park.
it just be
But
named?
it wouldn't be a name. There wouldn't be a
Could you just be
name.
kept Bondy Field, and you have? I mean, Bill Burke has one name over 12 fields.
Well, those 8 fields at Bob Burke could be potentially named someday.
Separate, yeah.
But
At Bill Burke
at this point,
complex.
since that original one was Bondy, and then to move these two to Bondy, I don't know. I just was throwing that out as a thought.
Well, the Earl J. Bondy is for the complex, not just for one field. So the original naming that we're proposing to rededicate would be for the entire complex.
And I'm
it
fine
would
with
be for 1 and
that.
2.
But could it not just could the current name just stay over there too? Not current, but would that mess you guys up too much to have Bondy in 2 parts as the city of Salina?
What we're proposing is that it change and move altogether.
I understand that because it'll get a lot more there. But if it's not going to have a name once you change it, can't it just stay Bondy
Well, we have lots of
Sunset?
things that don't have names.
Yeah.
Not everything has to have a name.
Yeah, well, but it already has a name. It could be Bondy Sunset, and then those could be Bondy 1 and 2 at Markley is what I'm going with.
That's certainly possible. I guess it's up to the board to give a recommendation as to how you want to move forward. But if you want to make a recommendation to go a different path, I need to start the process over. And then that was not what was brought forward
Right.
from the public.
Well, that's the first time we looked at it today.
No, I
so
get
I mean
that.
that's where I'm kind of saying, what's the difference if we just keep that Bondy over there and we have 2 Bondys over there? I mean,
Well,
yeah.
I think I just remembered
Right,
the answer. We can't have
We can't have
names.
2 with the same name. That's what I thought I read, yeah.
There is a part of this
Yep.
policy that can only one area can be
Yep.
named. So I just realized that is the answer.
Yep, I do remember reading that as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay, Jackie, you mentioned you'd like to say a couple more words. We'll give you a minute or 2 if you want to come back up and. Yep, and Larry, you guys all would have the same opportunity if there's anything else you would want to mention too. Now that we're kind of in that spot on the agenda.
And again, I want to say thank you for allowing me to speak again, and all the comments. And I'm going to specifically say they said great things about Earl, which are all true, believe me, knowing the Bondy family as we do. But I do have a couple questions. So one, as they said, Sunset Ball Diamond is not really utilized anymore, but I don't know why.
It's not true.
So why?
Yeah, it is utilized still, not in the same way it was.
Well, it's not
Years ago, but it is still
they're
utilized.
Saying to move it move the memorial thing to out east to where more people could see it.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder in the last 25 years why Sunset hasn't been utilized as it could be, should be, or might have been. Is there any reason why?
Well, for one thing, we have a complex of fields out east. So when they have a lot of tournaments and stuff, the complex of fields is a lot easier.
Sure.
Where you really only have one kind of field there, then it's not in great condition. So it's really like the Bill Burke Park. It's a complex of fields. So
Yeah,
that's why they were recommending with a lot more people
Right.
seeing it and more of a good dedication to Earl Bondy.
Right, and I understand that. I really do. But again, why hasn't it been kept up? And I know we have the other ball fields, but I still hear people saying, well, there aren't enough ball fields in Salina to take care of. Now, I don't know. This is just talk out in the community. I'm not saying anyone in particular, but I have heard comments of people saying, there's not enough ball fields. We need to build another one. And someone even made the comment to me one time when I was talking about it, well, it was somebody at a meeting, we'll just build you a new ball field. I don't want a new ball field. If you want to build a new ball field, that's fine, and let people use it. But because of Earl Bondy Field and my not wanting it to be moved, that would not be a reason to me to do that. But again, I just have to wonder about why it hasn't been promoted or kept up. And the other thing is, really like it when you come up with the cost of moving the monument. And that again was donated by the Bondy kids. So, you know, and I know they don't own the field and they don't own what's going on, and they would not want to carry the memorial thing home, but they would like for it to be where it is.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Well, thanks again. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'd just add a couple comments. Byron Tomlins, Kenny Hancock, and myself just finished about an $8 million fund drive to renovate South High Diamonds along with the city, to build Pestinger Field, to build batting cages, and to do all that at East Crawford. And the logic behind that is you know, when you start getting things in different pods around the community, it makes it more difficult. And quite candidly, it makes it more expensive for the city to try to take care of all those. One thing Harold and I have talked about, Salina has a rich history of baseball. Back in the minor leagues, the Salina Millers, Philadelphia had a minor league baseball team in Salina in the 50s through Cookie League baseball and all the way up until today. And we've won a lot of state championships, and we've continued to have conversations about a way to celebrate that and do that out at East Crawford. We're visiting teams coming here could see that. So, you know, we do have Matson Field, and we moved Wilbur Field down to the south. We just spent a couple $1 million on renovating or updating Dean Evans Field, and then of course the Pestinger family, who have supported the Legion program for many, many years. So we kind of got everything out there now, and our logic was not to offend the Bondy family, but to really perpetuate Earl's history, because I think if you ask 10 people today on the street where Bondy Fields are, you may get one. If you ask 10 people on the streets today where East Crawford or the Berkley Family Recreation Center is, you probably have a lot more. So it's really perpetuating his history, and I think that's really our reason behind it, not to hurt anybody's feelings or step on anybody's toes. So I just wanted to also add that in. Thank you.
Larry, I have a question for you, because
sure.
Of anybody here, you probably would know the answer to this. Am I wrong in remembering that back when I used to play Babe Ruth baseball here in town, that the field that was out on Centennial and Magnolia was Bondy Field before?
No, that
okay.
never. No, when we had to move the Legion Field, which is now the tennis courts. When I played
right.
Legion, that's where we played. And when the Tony's Pizza Event Center was built, they took that ground for a parking lot,
right.
and it became the rodeo grounds. So we went out to, growing up here, Schilling Air Force Base, and where Budweiser is now, Cleve Dunn and myself and a couple others worked with the city, and we staked out a senior Babe Ruth diamond out there. In those days, Legion had kind of folded at the time, and senior Babe Ruth was very popular, which is the 16, 18-year-old kids. Plus, built a couple softball diamonds out there, and those were done really quickly. And there was a diamond that Babe Ruth built at what the old Lee Company building at Magnolia and Centennial on the north side of it. And we played Babe Ruth baseball games there. But we also played Babe Ruth baseball games up at St. John's Military School for many years too. And really that was probably one of the better diamonds in Salina. So again, we had all those different locations. Right. Now, senior Babe Ruth baseball is coming back and becoming more popular, and they're playing out at the Berkley Family Recreation area. Salina Baseball Enterprises, that Harold and I are on that board. Legion Baseball, there is no Legion Baseball right now. They're like everything, it's like skinny ties and wide ties. If you wait long enough, it comes back around again. So, but everything, all those are played out east. Now, so.
Yeah, I just, for some reason, I was thinking that field there north of Centennial and Magnolia intersection there when I played there, I was thinking that was Bondy Field for some reason. That's why I was curious.
If I remember correctly, they couldn't move the fences back far enough on home runs. No, that's not true?
No, I don't think so. So, okay, I appreciate it. Okay. Any comments or? Nope. Okay. I mean, I would just make the comment that you know, we were actually, Dan and I were just talking before the meeting about this, and the fact that, I mean, I grew up in Salina. I played baseball in Salina. I've coached baseball and softball in Salina now. I was familiar with the name, but honestly, when she asked me a little bit about the history, I didn't have that information. And so I do, while I appreciate Jackie's opinion on the history, and I agree with that piece of it, I also do think there's an opportunity for a little more recognition if we do move it. So that's just my comments.
I'll agree with you on that.
So you just want a recommendation to move forward, and then you take it to the city commission if that's the case?
Yeah, a recommendation, whether for or against,
Right.
that the city commission support such a naming exercise or a naming initiative.
Okay.
Something along
Is
those
it legal
words.
for me to make the recommendation?
I think one of us can.
Okay, go for it then.
I'd make a recommendation to move forward with moving the memorial and the naming to the Berkley Field 1 and 2.
I'll second that. So all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay.
Thank you so much for that recommendation to move forward with.
Yep.
I have another one, open another public hearing for another naming exercise, and I do need to treat them as separate naming exercises, naming initiatives. I won't repeat the municipal naming guidelines summary again, but there is a process in there that you can read on your own, or maybe you've already read it. This is another municipal naming initiative that staff are bringing forward. It's at John Parker Jr. Park, which is near Carver Center. As I've talked about with this board, and we've had public comment relating to a dog park. This is for the new dog park that was constructed at John Parker Jr. Park, which is on 315 North 2nd Street. I'm sorry, it's not 315 North. That's the Animal Services address. Oh, I'm sorry, 315 North 2nd Street. 329 is the animal shelter, which is the address of Carver Center. And recently at the City Commission meeting on January 26th, I did ask the City Commission to, I'm sorry, it was the first meeting of the month, not the 26th, that's this coming Monday. Asked the City Commission to declare it eligible, John Parker Jr. Park as eligible for naming. The resolution that approving that is in there, so that's step one. Step two, the city clerk did provide a letter saying that this is a acceptable verification, that the request is in compliance with the Salina Municipal Facilities Naming Guideline. Then again, this notice of this meeting was published in Salina 311 under legal notices. It was also put on our website. The dog park, which was, if you recall, was installed in this area in particular because there was a dog park behind the animal shelter, and we wanted to close that to public use and allow the staff at Animal Services to use that for their dogs, and from a recommendation from the state of Kansas about separating public dogs from the community's dogs, or are the dogs at the animal shelter from the public dog park. With the success of Berkley Park on Berkley Road and the naming exercise that was done for that, we felt it was important to also possibly name this dog park, because I think we have a strong history of the dog park we did have being named. And and I've talked to you, I think I talked to you last month or last year about this naming exercise. We did a kind of a social media campaign to announce its opening. We encouraged the community to provide names. Last month they provided you with a list of names that were generated from that. From your recommendation at that meeting, we took the top 4 names and did a poll with Salina 311. And that poll was very successful, so that was a great a great suggestion by this board. We had 7,800 comments or submissions to the survey, which blew my mind.
Yeah.
It's one of Salina 311's most or heaviest polls or highest participating polls. Anytime they get close to 8,000, it's one of their top performing polls. From that survey, when it closed, the barking lot was the number one name that came out of that, with 44% of all the votes, so that's the name we're going forward with, and that's the name I'm recommending to this board for the process. Signage, we're still in the process of what we want to do, and I really haven't talked to Dennis about how we would do signage here. But the pictures I provided, we could potentially place a sign right here. There is some rules relating to how we post signs, so I need to follow those rules. But I'm really thinking of a sign mounted to the fence, so we don't have to start digging holes in the ground. But again, we haven't talked about it yet. Let's see. So that's all I had. And if there's any questions or anything like that relating to this municipal naming request, I'd be happy to answer them. But otherwise, I'm seeking a recommendation for City Commission for continuing on the naming process. And again, this is on the agenda for that second Monday in February for a continuation of the naming process with the City Commission.
Okay.
So we're looking at the barking lot at John Parker Jr. Park. Is that correct?
Lots of words.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we would just probably do, I don't, if you're thinking properly, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would just call it the barking lot.
Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, if you're being proper, yes.
Okay.
I think it's better than Barker Park at Parker Park.
Parker Park.
Sure.
Any questions or comments? Want to make a recommendation?
Yeah, I'll make a recommendation. I'll move to make a recommendation for the barking lot at John Parker Parking Junior Park. See, I used second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, motion passes. Annual board report. Our favorite time of the year.
Yep. So I provided two documents. One, the blank 2025 annual reporting form, and I also provided last year's to give you a context of what was submitted last year. I think we have to the end of February. Do you think? Do you know, Brett? End of February to submit this. So it certainly could be something we can pick up next month. However, I would at least wanted to look at the last year's goals for this past year. When I say last year, 2024, for goals for 2025, we put in continue improvements at Jerry Ivy Memorial Park, Parker Park Dog Park, which we just discussed. Which is now called the barking. Well, it's not called the barking lot yet, but soon to be called the barking lot, I hope. Matson Field contract is contracted, is being scheduled, and will continue. We're getting ready to open that field this spring. We have restroom updates will continue in Oakdale and Lakewood Parks. Those are completed. And continued progress on the ADA transition plan. And we have about 98% completed of that older ADA transition plan. What was remaining are some bathrooms that we have in our list of things to do for bathroom remodels. And when we get to those parks, one of them being Berkley Family Recreational Area, will remodel those bathrooms and fully comply with the ADA transition plan. So if you're, I could see those as accomplishments for 2025, if the board agrees. I've
been hanging out here long enough. I think I got you all kinds of accomplishments.
Oh, thank you.
Didn't we complete Bill Burke and also Pessinger this year?
Bill Burke or
No, yeah, the infields. Wasn't that finalized finally this year? Last year, was that last year?
The turf infields?
Yeah, the turf.
No,
turf
that was a while ago.
That was a while ago, about 3 years ago.
there was reseeding
Well, but I mean,
of some of the outfields.
Well, but then the dugouts there, and Pessinger was done.
We did the final trim of the metal.
All right,
roofs
forget
of
about
the-
Bill Burke. How about Pessinger? Wasn't it finished?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's definitely, yeah.
Well, and then they did all the concrete work for the what are those called? The shelters.
Yeah, we did at Bill Burke. We did do. That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ashley. We did redo the slabs underneath the shelters, stabilize the structure of the shelter. We did the concrete around the concession stand, and then did a larger trail connection on the north end of Bill Burke Park. So concrete improvements at Bill Burke Park. And we also did some sidewalk replacements because we had some uneven sidewalks on the south end of the park.
And all the restrooms there, Oakdale Park and Lakewood. And when were the tennis courts actually done?
About 3 years ago.
Yep.
Well, that's
This
what
would be.
Well, I noticed we had a remodel here. So did we get those? Did we finish the tennis courts remodel this last year? Because that's what says our goals. Model restroom updates will continue in Oakdale. That's Lakewood. That wasn't tennis courts.
That's done.
I'm trying to get tennis courts in there.
We did that in
someplace.
2023.
Yeah. All right.
So this was a
Guess I've been hanging out here too long.
The sand volleyball
or
courts.
2024. Sand
It has
volleyball, yeah.
tennis center bathroom remodel.
Yeah.
It has it down there. Just
Yep.
was an other.
Yeah, that's what it was. Tennis. Yeah.
Yep.
Remodel.
Yep. And I will say to some of the people in the room, most people probably already know this, but were you at Ambucks Friday? Yeah, you were at Ambucks Friday. So we had Jacob Wood actually speak at Ambucks last Friday, and he had a list of, just so you guys know, he had a list of accomplishments that the city had over the course of the past year. And I would say 75% of that list was Parks and Rec
I
stuff.
just get his report.
Just kudos for
Yeah, well,
the
I'll have
year
to
of
snag that list from my
2025.
boss.
So yeah, I mean it was like two of every three bullet points were a Parks and Rec thing that we had discussed and on this board. So
Nice.
I did not hear
So you
that.
can put those our accomplishment goals and things.
yeah, borrow his presentation. Just take those off of that.
See Jacob.
Because he also came in and told us about the person living in Riverside Park.
Oh
You want to explain that?
no, we can talk about that after the fact.
Well, that's not part of these compliments, right?
So okay.
We had a safety concern at Riverside Park, and Dennis addressed it. Okay.
So yeah, so I know we did that last year where we kind of took the goals that we completed from the previous year and listed those as accomplishments. I would say, if you guys think of anything else that we didn't have listed there, we talked about, just email Jeff and make sure we get it added to the list.
A few items I like to consider for the board's consideration for goals for 2026. Let's see. We have a splash pad. That is something that is going to be very important to our community and to our staff. Splash pad at Jerry Ivy Park will be a major goal.
Completed.
To be completed.
Okay.
To be completed. Yes.
That's a goal, and that's going to be accomplishment next
Okay.
year. Yeah.
To be completed before at the start of May or before May. We have some more concrete improvements that we're continuing, and some of those are at Oakdale Park. We talked about a concrete improvement at Berkley Family Recreational Area. We have Oakdale, the north part of Oakdale and the trails, and we have some areas that are service areas behind Dennis's shop. We have Indian Rock Trail along Indiana. That is a gravel trail, and we'll be expanding it widthwise a bit and converting that to concrete, and that is quite a long trail. So it'd be one more connection and improvement of a trail. So those are some of those concrete projects. We have some fencing we're gonna be starting replacing in this year. And we're still continuing on our bathroom remodel plan. We're looking at Jerry Ivy Park for that north bathroom and the south bathroom. We actually are looking at replacing the south bathroom with a prefabricated model similar to Bill Burke. Let's see. My personal pet project, I guess, is what I really want to get done is the Oakdale fountain. Has not worked for a long time. I'm looking into, it might not be repaired this year, but I'm looking at the solutions that it's going to take to get it repaired. And it's becoming, as I've had more conversations with engineering folks and water folks, it seems it's not going to be straightforward. But so hopefully you get some movement on that. We have more 9th Street landscaping to do on the medians on South 9th. We have some Matson. We're doing quite a bit of work at Matson still. We got dugouts to do. We're buying a new scoreboard. So I have plenty of goals for your consideration for 2026.
Back to accomplishments, didn't you do Oakdale Park this last year with playground? Or was
we
that
did Kenwood Park Playground.
Oh, Kenwood.
Yeah.
And Oakdale was the year before.
We started Bill Burke. We didn't finish Bill Burke.
Oxbow was last year. Wasn't that this year?
When did we finish Oxbow Park Playground? Was that earlier in 2025 or was that late 24?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the things I thought of as you were going through that list was also the Berkley Park. Obviously, we had the group come to us with some suggestions that we implemented a lot of their requests on top of the additional pad there. Yeah.
Thank you.
The fourth lot.
One update about that, and I'll probably talk about that with projects, but I wanted to, since you brought it up about Berkley Park, the shade structures, we bought three shade structures. Those shade structures are finally here in Salina. The contractor is going to be starting soon to assemble those and put them into service at Berkley Park. We've made a little pivot about how we're doing that. We're going to put the 3 shelters. We have, as you probably know, we have 4 sections now. We added a 4th section. We're putting the 3 shelters at section 4 and sections 1 and 2. Section 3 will be closing here this late spring, early summer for rotational maintenance. And in that time frame, I will finding funds, allocating the funds to buy that 4th shelter and have it installed. And then by the time we open up in 2027, we'll have a shelter house there.
Okay.
So that's a little bit of a pivot.
Yep.
That I did not previously explain.
Question. With the usage of the pickleball courts at Kenwood, have we looked at those bathrooms? I mean, I go to the bathroom before I go there.
They were remodeled.
They were remodeled. I haven't gone in them.
Yeah, they're really nice.
Yeah.
Now I need to go in them.
All of them. All of them by Oakdale are done.
All of them.
Yeah, all of 4,
Yeah.
3.
3.
4, 3. Yeah, they're really nice.
Well, there's 4 if you
job.
count Kenwood Park, but yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Kenwood,
there's
right?
actually they're all really nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really good to know.
We can take tours of it next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We finished that just before River Festival.
Okay. Perfect.
It was our goal to finish just before Riverfest. So the only thing we didn't do before Riverfest was some exterior things on the roofing, some of that metal flashing, But yes.
And they're a lot like the tennis court. If you've been in a tennis court and seen those
But,
restaurants.
that is an accomplishment.
What is that covering that you put on the walls?
Epoxy.
Yeah, that's really, that
Okay.
just, to me, that took it to another level, yeah.
Right.
Great.
It's
Yeah.
just, it's easy to clean, it's solid, it's non-porous, so it repels stains and smells.
I know Jeff may have listed it as accomplishment. Just want to remind the board with the Pestinger Family Stadium, we're not completely done just yet. The field itself is great, and the surroundings the parks did with the grass and everything is just awesome. We have a few things left on the list that we're discussing with the BFRA board, and that's the grandstands that will be installed this spring. Upcoming spring. They're ordered, just
Correct.
manufacturing time, and then a flagpole. And then PA system, So we're not completely done with that yet, but the field itself is done and playable. So
How much seating are they going to have?
I didn't count.
I don't know. That's a good question. Not as big, not as much as Dean Evans.
I wouldn't expect it.
But that is a good question, and I will have a number for you in the future. I think an accomplishment that I'd like to add, and if the board agrees, is that last month Travis reported to this group that he said this is the most league teams we've ever hosted and serviced and provided service for. I'd like to, with the board's approval, I'd like to be able to
Absolutely.
add that.
Yes, I have consistent, continued growth in the youth sports programs.
Looks like your soccer has increased a lot.
Yes. Was the safety net in between Pestinger and Dean Evans put in? Is
Yep.
that done?
Yep. It's
Okay.
up.
Yep. I'm looking forward to going there and seeing a ball hit it and then know our actions were justified.
Is there a way to get it down from the safety
Yeah.
net?
There's a little gap from where it
So
is,
it
where
can
the fence.
flow.
So if it hits another,
Okay.
it's going to drop down. Yeah.
Okay.
We envisioned an area as almost like a little mini plaza in between those two fields. So we were a little bit fearful, I was especially, about
Yeah.
potential balls hitting people, foul balls coming out of Dean Evans. Well, we can continue this conversation.
Yep.
If you want to email me individually, that's great as well. But I'm taking notes if you have something else that you made that I might not have heard. I wrote down improvements to Pestinger Family Stadium, Bill Burke concrete improvements and bathroom improvements, sand volleyball at Jerry Ivy Park, Berkley Park improvements, Oakdale Park bathrooms, Lakewood, Oakdale, and Kenwood. Consistent growth of league teams, and anything else I might have missed that you want me to capture, either for accomplishments or other items of interest. Oh, it was like 2 years ago.
Most of my
Yeah.
history.
Yeah. 3 years ago. So, okay.
Okay. I appreciate your feedback, and I will put this together, and I will have a draft for you to review in February, and it will be updated, and it'll include your attendance, and you can approve that in February, then we'll submit it to the city clerk. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay. Doesn't look like we have any old business. So, project status updates.
Jerry Ivy Splash Pad, as I reported last month, it is being manufactured. The installer of the splash pad equipment was preparing to be on site this month. However, the installer, their lead installer, had a personal issue, had a death in the family, and they had rescheduled to the end of this month, 1st of February, to start doing the in-beds, which basically means in gravel and sand, putting in the plumbing, underground plumbing, and that would be the next step after that would be to do concrete slab. So putting at the end of 1st of February would still put us in a good timeline. We've had really good weather this month until this coming weekend.
Yep. Until we're ready to go.
So hopefully the ground can dry up in the next 2 weeks and he can be ready to go the 1st of February. Berkley Park dog improvements, I gave a brief update about that. The shelter houses are in Salina and going to be installed soon. We're putting it in sections 1 and 2 and 4. My intent was to purchase another one and have it installed this year in preparation for 2027 when we reopen that third section, and we're going to close that in June, early June-ish. And concrete improvements, phase 4A is complete. I would say it's 99% complete. They have some seeding to do, and they're going to wait until March, April to do that seeding for the areas that were disturbed, for areas at Oakdale Park, areas at Kennedy Park, which is near Hageman, and it's kind of behind Napa Auto Parts, that area back there. They also did some areas at Berkley Family Recreational Area for staff. So we're able to relocate. We've already relocated the red dirt pile that was by fields 3 and 4, which was it was an eyesore in my opinion. We've relocated that to behind the Travis's staff's shop, getting it out of view. We'll be cleaning up that area, and then over the winter and into the spring. So those areas were complete, except for some overseeding in areas. We've already had conversations with the design and engineering firm that we hired to continue in phase 4B for concrete improvements for 2026.
Okay. All right. Moving on to general announcements, review of articles.
I put this in here, and I don't need to talk about it a whole lot, but I found some articles that I thought that would be valuable for us moving forward about, the importance of Parks and Recreation to a community. One article is from the Pennsylvania Recreation Park Society. It was about some people saying Parks and Recreation is at the bottom of the totem pole, but their argument is being at the bottom of the totem pole is not a bad thing because it gives you a base. You are the base for lots of important things that occur in your community. I thought it was an interesting read. And then just before this went to print for the advisory board, NRPA came out with supporting for park, and so a report demonstrating support for Parks and Recreation. And I thought some of the second page I thought was very interesting. 2 out of 3 adults strongly agree that Parks and Recreation is an important service provided by the local government. People spend time with their friends and family at parks. 3 out of 5 adults are highly likely to consider the availability of a park and recreation services when considering a place to live. And almost everybody said they had feelings of belonging at their Parks and Recreation space. But I'm not going to read it out loud or anything, but I wanted to provide some importance to how we feel as staff about why we're here, why we do what we do.
Just a comment, I really like parks. I love going through them. But I thought I shared this as a staff, but on Sundays I volunteer at the garage, and afterwards I drive through Oakdale Park, and I've always seen these people walking around with their phones in their hands like this. I'm going, what are you doing? So this South Sunday, there's about 15 of them, and I mean it's up to groups of 30 to 40, and they play Pokemon Go in the park, and and it's like, I'm thinking, playgrounds and stuff like that, but they're walking around, but at least they're getting use out of the park. I mean, it was just the most different thing I'd ever dreamed something like that be in parks. But
I read
geocaching too.
I'm sorry.
Geocaching too.
What I thought they were doing was geocaching, but this,
Well, you provided a link, and I read the link. I didn't read the whole article because it was a study. Well, it seemed to be it was a long article. Yeah. But it was relating to mapping of outdoor spaces, whereas Google Maps does a great job of mapping out streets for cars, but there's no map for public areas or natural areas or And I thought that was a pretty cool initiative. And if you think about it someday, it could be kind of creepy for one, but it also could be really neat that you can explore and you can get to know any community and see it in video. It's pretty fascinating, actually.
Oh, and these people look like gamers. And it's like, okay, great, getting the gamers out of the house. That was just pretty neat. One other thing before we go is Lakewood. You'd said that we cleaned it up a lot. You just added that flagpole this last year, didn't you? Or last month? Yeah, that looks nice. It really you can really see into that and see the nature area now, and it just really, with that flagpole, just really looks nice. So
yeah, that's another view that has been the same way for a long time. And then as you pass Lakewood Discovery, that center, that view totally is different now.
Yeah, and you missed when you go by, you'd miss it, and you cleaning that up just made a big difference.
Yeah, that's Dennis and his team.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's all I had.
Any other comments or announcements? All right, want to make a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn. I'll second.
Motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.